Okay, let's see in our cluster what alerts are already configured. We can use this command to grab the alert. You can get Prometheus. Like alerts are configured via these rules which are there in the cluster. It comes via default Prometheus charts. These are the Prometheus rules, and these are the alerts configured on these rules only. So whatever alerts we get triggered, it will be in these rules. Let's try to see what alerts are there. See, there are node rules. There are if you see HCD rules, and there are pod rules, and there are also node rules, node network, node. These are all related to whatever rules we configured for our Prometheus alerting configuration, right? All the alerts come via these rules which are configured by default by help chart. Let's try to see what are the pod alerts which we have till now. We see these are not pod alerts, these are something else. Let's try to grab all the alerts which are there in the cluster with alert name. Like these are all the alerts which are there on the in the alert rules. If we see, we have alert manager failed reload, the alert manager inconsistent, and alert failed to send alert, and HCD member down, and HCD no leader, HCD insufficient members, and also target down. Like any of the target is down, it will throw an alert. You see pod crash looping, pod not ready, but no pending pods. Like pod not ready, maybe some other issues, but pending pod, if it happens, then it should automatically give the alert as pending pod. But I don't see any pending pod in this alert configuration. Q replicas instead mismatch, rollout stuck. We see node alerts. If we see, we don't see any node alerts like not ready nodes. If we see not ready nodes, we try to grab not ready nodes. We don't have not ready nodes. Okay, let's grab by a node. We see there are only two alerts which are related to node. So there are no alerts which are many alerts related to node. Like there are some nodes like operator not ready. So I guess we have some node related alerts we have, like rate degraded, node rate disk failure, and we have node CPU high usage, and we have node usage high memory utilization. And also like not ready nodes, it doesn't have not ready nodes actually, these alerts. Pod crash looping, I guess we have pod crash looping also. We don't have pod crash looping alert. We don't have. So there are some alerts which we have, and so there are some alerts which we don't have, but they are very important in cluster configuration. Okay, so there are some basic alerts which like the major alert which I feel is pending pods alert, which we should get immediately when the pod is into pending state. Like if you are managing some amount of cluster, like there are some 10 to 12 clusters, and including dev, prod, and staging. And let's suppose in prod cluster there is a pending pod which has occurred, and should get alert immediately, but there is no pending pod alert in this. There is no pending pod, and pod is crash looping. Maybe it might be crash looping because of some application issue, or maybe it is getting OM killed because of out of memory on the application is asking for more memory than what is really needed, and maybe kernel is going and killing the container again and again. Maybe that might be the reason. So I need pod crash looping alert also, but there is no pod crash looping alert by default. So we need to write default alerts for those kind of situations. And let's suppose, like I told you, right, if there are 12 13 clusters I'm dealing with, and there are some not ready nodes in the cluster, like minimum 10 to 20 and minimum 5 to 10 nodes not ready. It should send the alert immediately, like these nodes are not ready. Maybe at the data center level something might have failed, and maybe because of that nodes have become not ready. and maybe at the back end nodes have become shut down, and because of that node became not ready. So we should get alert of that. So I feel so there are not many there are not many node related alert, and not many pod related alert. Should be writing some configuration which which are at most required for our cluster stability. I'll write those alerts, like I'll be writing those rules and I'll be applying those rules. Let's see how I can proceed and write the alerts. So this is the way by which we tend to get the alerts. And there is one more command which I have. If if we if we if we uh, like if, if I run this command, and if I run this command, let's see. mm, I was missing the dot at the end. So this will send out, this will give out the pod related alert with the in what file it is there. So it is there in file Prometheus apps. That rule, it is the rule, it is rule names. And if I see node related alert, so these are node related alert with the rule name. This is the rule name. In this rule I'll be finding this node related alert, and in these rules I'll be finding pod related alert. Let's try to check this file. These are the rules which are configured by default by Helm chart. Let's try to grab that not ready nodes, right? Not ready nodes. Let's try to grab that. In this, let's see. Let's how we can grab some of the content of what's the rule configured. Uh, Cube PDB not enough healthy pods. This is one of the alert. And we have cube replicas at mismatch. Replicas mismatch. Cube job failed. So it's one of the alert which is wherein most of the jobs, if it fails, it will trigger alert. Cube job completed. That's one of the alert. Cube daemon set misscheduled. Like there are some nodes wherein a daemon set is not scheduled, but it has scheduled. For that it is alert. Daemon set misscheduled, right? So daemon set not scheduled. Like if daemon set is not scheduled on particular node, it will throw an alert. Misscheduled is on some of the nodes. Daemon set should not run. Like let's suppose GPU node, and I don't want a daemon set to run on that node. So for that kind of alert, so it is that kind of alert wherein on particular node a daemon set should not run. Like by default daemon set goes and run on every node, right? So by taint and tolerations we can manage that as well. Container waiting. This is container waiting. Let's see. It is rollout stuck. If the rollout is stuck for more than, like, what's the time here? Time they have not more than 5 minutes, it will throw an alert. No, this is rollout not completed. Okay, so this is rollout stuck. This is for more than 15 minutes. If it is more than 15 minutes, it will throw an alert. Replica set mismatch. Maybe some of the replicas, like I'm running. Let's suppose I'm running an application which has 3 replicas to run, and one of the replica is not running. One of the replica is not running, so it will throw an alert in 10 minutes. Few pod not ready, right? So this is one of the alert which wherein if the pod is in pending state, it will throw an alert, or it is in failed or unknown state, it will throw an alert. Like every 50 minutes, it will go and check and try. It will throw an alert. So this is sufficient, I guess. So if pod is pending, but it is the time is more, like it should not be 15 minutes. It will be like it should be in 30 seconds or something. Like if immediately a pod is not running, it should throw an alert immediately. Not for 15. It should not wait for 15 minutes. Like immediately in a sense, like 30 seconds or 60 seconds. Like by that time, like sometime there's a dependency and pod is down, because of that application might go down. That's the reason I am saying 30 seconds or 50 seconds is the maximum thing which any of the cluster would have. Or let's suppose 5 minutes, not 15 minutes. If there are critical pods which are running and it requires immediate attention, for that thing I guess 30 seconds or 60 seconds would be sufficient. Like I feel maximum is 2 minutes. This pending pod, maybe we will relate it to some nodes not available, maybe some nodes are not ready. So pending pods are interrelated to node not ready, maybe node not ready issues also. So so pending pod, maybe it is not getting node to schedule. That's one of the reason. Or maybe taint is on the node, and so we, like let's suppose we have many workloads which runs and we want to segregate the applications into different namespaces. So I want a particular namespace to run with particular tolerations. Maybe that toleration is not, maybe toleration is not happening for some of the pods, and maybe it is in pending state for long. Or maybe there are less number of nodes in the cluster. Maybe that might be the reason. Or maybe pod is not tolerating to the taint. That might be the reason. So there are multiple reasons for pods to be pending. So this alert is, I guess this alert is very important to understand. Like if pod is pending, then let's see how many nodes are not ready. If nodes are not ready, then what's the issue? Maybe issue is at cloud level, or maybe at the data center level. We need to understand that. So for that, not ready node alert also is very important. Like for by default, not ready nodes alert will not be there. We need to create not ready node also, not ready node alert also. After that, this pod crash looping, like pod crash loop pod crash looping might happen with multiple reasons. Like maybe it happens because of application level issue, or maybe it happened because of pod getting OM killed. Maybe pod is asking for more amount of memory, and rather more amount of memory, rather than limits and requests. Like whatever limit is given, it is asking more than that, and kernel is going and killing that container again and again, and is recreating again and again that pod, and it is getting into OM kill. So OM kill happens because of that, and pod is getting into crash looping state, and so this alert is again triggering at 15 minutes per minute. 15 minutes. So maybe we need this alert very quickly, like not 15, we don't need to wait for 15 minutes, right? So for that case, I guess 15 minutes is huge. So let's reduce it to maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes. Maximum is 5 minutes, like not more than 5 minutes should take. For crash looping alert, it is very important if our cluster is very our cluster is very important for us. Like we don't want any pod to consume more memory than what is been given to it. So that kind of issues we can overcome by this pod crash looping alert. We need to configure this alert, and we need to reduce the time, and also reduce the time for pending pods also. Like not 15, we should not wait for 15 minutes. Like every 2 minutes, it should check and it should trigger an alert in 2 minutes, like or 2 minutes or 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds. Not it's not wait for 15 minutes. Like our if cluster is huge, pods are many, then I understand. But if cluster is not huge, like cluster has maybe 10-15 nodes, and the pods are also like 100 pods. So in that case, if pods are not interdependent, in that case these 15 minutes will suffice. But uh, if the pods are more, if pods are more, and there's so much of interdependency on the pods, like in that case, I feel this number should get decreased to 5 minutes or 2 minutes. So we'll configure it to maybe 30 seconds. Like while we write our rules, we'll configure it to 30 seconds, not this amount of time. So let's go ahead and configure Prometheus rule for our custom alerts. Let's go ahead and write Prometheus rules for that. So for that, we'll create a file called as rules.yaml, and in that rules.yaml we'll create rules. Okay, let's create custom rules yaml, and let's create custom rules. For that, we need API version, right? So let's check the API version. Let's check the API version of what is the API version we should give. Give this API version, and then you have to give kind dash rule. So let's copy this both. Okay, now let's do metadata. Name, what name we want to give? K3s dashboard alerts, and then namespace. In what namespace? In Prometheus namespace, in alert manager namespace, right? Monitoring, no, in monitoring namespace, right? We have to create. Then we need labels also. Label we need to give Prometheus label. Release name, we have to give release name. Let's check what's the release. This is the command for checking the release. Okay, we have to give this label in our rule. So we have to get this, and then you have to add this rule in our custom rules. Yeah. Once this rule is added, so now first part is done. Now add spec. For spec under spec, you want to configure for groups, right? I want to divide this into group alerts. Divide these alerts into group. From me pod alerts and node alerts. For that I can create groups. Okay, and name pod alerts. All pod related alerts I'll give in pod alerts, and for node alerts I'll give another name of group, that is node alerts, and all the node alerts will come in that group. Okay, so now alert. No, we have to give rules, and then alert. I'm writing the rules right. So for not one of the alert is pending pods alert. An expression, let's try to get the expression now. Expression from Q-Prometheus dashboard only. We can get the expression by Q pod status phase equal to, no, sorry, phase equal to pending. So this we can select pending, or equal to greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then pending greater than 0 will trigger an alert. Right now I don't have any of the pod pending, right? So that's why it is not no alert, no, like it is not giving any data. So let's try to cordon all the nodes and try to create a pod. Let's try to do that. Let's try to add taint on the node and then try to deploy a pending pod. Let's complete the expression later. Oh, release name, I need to give release name as Prometheus stack. Label is given. After that you have to write spec, right? Spec. Under spec you have to give groups. Under groups you need to write name of the group. what name I need to give for the group of alerts. Pod alerts. Now I can give rule, or I can write rules now. Rules alert. What's the alert name? Pending pod. Expression. Let's write the expression later. Let's try to do some pending pod. Let's try to create some pending pods and then try to write expression. If our expression is correct or not, I don't know. Let's try to add taint on the node by using these commands. I'm adding this taint on the nodes. Okay, taint are added. Let's try to grab the taint and see if taint is added. Describe node. Yeah, name. This taint is added on the node. So now pod will not schedule any. Not a single pod will schedule. If I create a pod pending pod alert. Let's try to create a pending pod using a configuration which I have. So let's try to create. So I'm giving huge number of memory, right? This much of memory I don't have in my cluster. So okay, namespace is not found. Let's create a namespace. This pod will be pending now. This should come on the dashboard now. Let's see. It is coming, right? So now it will come. So this is a custom alert which I created now. So this expression is working fine. So once expression is working fine, I can copy this expression and then paste it in our rule. And duration I want to give 30 seconds. I'm setting the duration here, 30 seconds. Then later severity, I want to give severity also now. Label, then severity, critical. I need to give critical because it is critical alert. So there are different kind of severities like critical and warning. So I'm going to have this critical alert. So I have to trigger this as critical alert. So for that I'm writing critical alert. So annotation, I want to give annotation now. I have to give pod is pending. This is the image. This is the information I want to give when the alert triggers. Description, I can add description also. Pod is. I can add label also. Label dot namespace. If you try to get the namespace name, namespace is pending. We have created one custom alert now. This alert will trigger now we have not configured SMTP till now, so we'll configure SMTP also now. So after creation of all the alerts, we'll configure SMTP then so that it triggers an alert on the email. So this is completed now. One of the alert we have created. So let's try to save the file. Let's now focus and create one expression for crash loop backup pod. For crash loop backup pod, you need to write cube pod container, sorry, pod container status waiting reason, then reason you have to give reason. Okay, it has not taken. It is giving reason, right? Reason, okay, reason then equal to crash loop backup. Yeah, if it is greater than 0, let's move it into sum. Like I want a sum, I want to make it into sum. Not that, okay, sorry, not this bracket, this bracket. Okay, now this query should run, but I don't have any crash loop backup pod, right? For creating crash loop backup pod, you need to write a command. Like let me write a command to create crash loop backup pod. 𝐶TL run crash pod image busy box. Let's say busy box 136 will take 36. Okay, restart always will take. Let's write command when the container starts. I want this command to run in the container. Command sh -c echo crashing now exit 1 is created. Now this pod should crash. So we should get the query also. And query should run fine. If our query is correct, it will run fine. Okay, the pod is pending because we have added taint on the node, right? So let's remove one taint on one of the node. Let's create kubectl taint. Kubectl get nodes. We have added taint on the node, right? So that's why it is pending. Kubectl. What's the taint we give? Describe node. Let's remove this taint on this node to let the pod schedule, and when it gets scheduled, then only it will crash to back off, right? Grep taint. Okay, that's the taint I've added, right? So I need to remove that. To remove that, we can write kubectl taint node name we need to give, and then we have to give this taint also, and just do minus at the end to remove the taint. Pod is in container creating state. The container creating state. So let's see if it crash loops. Crash loops, right? If it crash loops, then we have to get the query right. The query is correct, then it will crash loop. Yeah, it is crash looping. So I've added some, right? So I need to remove some to understand what pod is this crashing. That some will give just count. It will give count. How many pods are crash looping? It will give the count. Okay, crash pod. That's the pod, right? I created one pod and it is crashing. Okay, so we can keep some. Is crashing, right? So one pod is crashing, so this query is correct. So let's try to write a rule for it and try to create a Prometheus rule for it. Custom rules. Okay, now let's add one more rule. Alert crash loop back of pods. Crash to back of pods. Okay, and what is the expression? Let's write the expression because we need the count of pod, right? So we need this expression, and for we give 30 seconds. Like in 30 seconds, if the pod is crashing, it should throw an alert. Labels, same label we need to add. Severity critical, because this is a critical pod. A critical alert. Critical, and then description we can give description. Okay, description will add description. Let's give annotation as critical. Let's give annotation and description. Let's take this also. Like from label, I'll take okay. There's some indentation issue, I guess. Need to move this to correct indentation. Okay, pod is crashing. Let's give the naming. Pod is crashing, and there are pods crashing. We need to give alert as there are pod crashing. Can add runbook also in description. There are values we can give. In values, it will take pods. Value, okay. Pods in crash loop back of state. We configure second alert also. Now let's configure some other alert like image pullback issue. Sometimes image pullback issue also comes, right? So we need to create an alert for that. Let's create an alert for image pullback issue. Let's save this file. Image pullback issue, I guess it is very easy. Like we can give a wrong image and try to pull the image, try to pull the pod. let's create this image pullback issue. We can create one alert, kubectl get pods error image pull, right? So we need to have an alert for that. Let's suppose one of the image is not able to pull the correct image, then we can create an alert for that. So for that we need to write a query. What's the query for that? Let's write a query for that. Cube container status waiting, same thing, reason, multiple reasons, right? So we need to write, we have to take up we need to take that. So image pullback off, and then error image error image pull. If it is more than 0, it should trigger an alert. So for that we need to create into some, right? We have to count the number of pod. There's one pod, right? There's one pod which is image pullback, image pull pod. So there's an alert for that. So there's a query which is coming out correctly. So we can create an alert for this as well. So we can put it into some. One pod, right? So this query is correct. So once query is correct, let's try to update our rules. Let's try to copy everything. Image pullback off. Okay. Image pull issues. Okay. Let's copy the query. I'll give this to 2 minutes, not 30 seconds. 2 minutes. So image pullback issue might happen because of many reasons, because maybe because of authentication issue, or maybe because some node issue. Node is not able to pull the image. That container image is not able to node is not able to pull the image. Maybe node has some issue, or maybe storage is full on the node, and because of that it is not able to pull the image correctly, or some wrong tag has been given to the node. That's why image is not getting pulled properly. That are some of the reasons which by which node image pull issues come. So let's save this file. Now sometime then the pod is stuck in container creating state. We need alert for that as well. So for container creating state, let's create a pod which is in container creating state, which gets stuck in container creating state. For that we need to create a command. So let's give a command for that. This will be stuck in container creating state. This container will recreate actually. So kubectl get pods. Actually, a crash loop backup pod, but the container gets recreated again and again. It's getting recreated again and again. Let's write a query for that as well. for writing that query, it's an easy query, like it doesn't need much expressions, like cube pod container status restarts total, restarts total greater than 0. This will give the crash pod and also flappy pod. So this is one of the way which wherein we can configure alert for container recreating. If container gets recreated again and again, we can create an alert for that as well. Like let's suppose we can add some also at the first. So it will give one alert. It should give two alerts, but I don't know why it is giving only one. Count as one only. Why it is giving count as one? It is giving 11. 11 as count. Like 11 times the pod is recreated again and again. This is not one. It's a result series as one. It is given. So like it is giving two pods. So it will give two pods only. So let's create an alert for that as well. To write the description properly, failing due to image pull issue. Let's try to write container recreating. Alert name is container recreating. Container recreating. Let's copy the query from here because that's the correct query which I have written. Let's try to write the correct query. There's one more alert for the pod which you can create. If pod is stuck in container creating state, let's suppose there's a finalizer on the pod and pod is stuck in container terminating state. For that also I need alert because there's many number of terminating pods, then that would cause an issue. So for that also I need an alert. I'll create that alert now. I give this 2 minutes. Okay, this 2 minutes I've given for this also 2 minutes. Container recreating. Even this extra comma, extra double noted comma, that would cause an issue. There are values. In values it will try to add. Let's try to save the file. we want another alert for pods only, for the pods which are stuck in terminating state. So how do we do that? Let's create a pod which is stuck in terminating state. And use this command to create that pod. I've added a finalizer for that, so let's delete the pod. It got deleted, huh? Okay. Okay, let's try to add a terminating pod alert. Terminating pod, create pod which is stuck in terminating state. Let's create a pod. It got deleted somehow. I don't know why it got deleted, but let's create a pod with terminating state. Now let's create terminating pod alert. There is one final alert which we have to create for pod alerts as part of pod alerts. So let's create one alert. That's the final one which we are writing as custom alert for our pod alert. There are many alerts which we can configure for related to pod, but we are creating one alert, the final one which is related to pod alerts. Now let's create one terminating pod alert. For that, we need to create a file. I am creating a file, so let's try to cat the file and see what is there in the file. Like we have one pod which is getting created with name stuck pod, and I am adding a finalizer for it. So finalizer are something like which we add to the resources in Kubernetes which we don't want to get deleted. Let's suppose I add a finalizer to PVC, it will not get deleted. It will be stuck in deleting state only. It will be stuck in terminating state, sorry. So if I add finalizer to the pod, it will be stuck in terminating state until unless I pass this finalizer. I pass this file, pass this until unless I remove finalizer and pass the pod. So I've created one file, right? So now let's try to apply the file and see if it is getting deleted or not. It is deleted. It is there. So get pods. It will be running state because that's the valid image I gave. So now let's delete the pod. It is stuck in terminating state. Now let's try to write a query so that we can get this terminating pod. For that, in Kubernetes what we can do is we can write a query in Prometheus. We can write a query 𝐶_pod deletion status. We can get 𝐶_pod status doesn't give terminating state pods, right? For that you need to get like 𝐶_pod status. If I check, it not have terminating state pods anything as such. Do not have it. Let me show you like what I am trying to show you. Let me show you. Like if I try to see 𝐶_pod container status. Reason, if I see the reason, doesn't have any terminating state as such. Like I can't get terminating pod by using this query. So we have to write 𝐶_pod deletion status. 𝐶_pod deletion status. Isn't query related to deletion. This is timestamp. Sorry. Okay. Deletion timestamp. Then we can give greater than 0. Leave one pod. this pod is stuck in terminating state, right? So it has given that this pod. We have to add it. We have to add it into sum. We can create a sum or count. You can add count or sum. You can add count also, if at all, if possible. Give the number of pods which are stuck in terminating state. So I want this query. This query I wanted, so I got this query. Now we can create a rule around it. Custom alerts, custom rules. You can copy this rule which is there at the bottom. Copy the rule which is there at the bottom. We can paste it as it is. Terminating pods. You can get the query from here. Which we have written. You can add it there. Let's keep it as not 2 minutes. Let's keep it as 2 minutes only. What is stuck in terminating state? So let's keep it 5 minutes. Sorry. We can change the severity as warning rather than critical. It is not a critical thing, right? So we can maybe terminating pod consume resources, but let's keep it as warning rather than critical. These are number of pods which are in terminating state. Terminating state. Once this is completed, now we need to create node related alerts. So this will give number of pods which are in terminating state. Severity we can keep it as warning, and as an annotation we can give summary. We can add summary also as an annotations. Let's save the file. Now we created pod related alerts. Now we can create more. You can create more if at all, as per your requirement. But I would suggest you to create more amount of alerts, custom alerts, which are if you require more alerts. Like these are the common alerts which I created just now. So you can create more alerts if you require more, and I'll create only one related to alert related to node. That will be not ready nodes, because by default it doesn't give not ready nodes, right? So I need to have alert of not ready nodes, number of not ready nodes. So I'll create one rule out of for that, and try to add that rule into this custom rules file. So that's all about pod rules and node rules I'll be creating.